We live in a world that is completely obsessed with multitasking, right? But today, we're going to talk about its quieter, way more powerful sibling, singular project focus. It's the secret sauce for not just getting things done, but getting the right things done and doing them incredibly well. So let me ask you something, and be honest. Do you kind of pride yourself on being a great multitasker? Juggling emails, taking calls, and bouncing between a dozen projects all at once? Society has told us that's a superpower, a sign of peak performance. But what if that's all a big myth? What if I told you it's actually costing you big time? According to the American Psychological Association, that constant gear switching can slash your productivity by up to 40%. Just let that sink in. It's like a hidden tax on your brain every single time you jump from one thing to another. Okay, so here's the game plan. We're going to start by exposing what I call the multitasking trap. Then we'll dive into the power of singular focus. I'll give you a step-by-step blueprint. We'll see how it works in the real world. And finally, we'll arm you with your very own ultimate focus toolkit. Let's do this.
First things first, let's talk about why trying to juggle everything at once is basically a setup for failure. It's not a skill you need to master. It's a trap we all need to learn how to escape.
The science behind this is something called task switching cost. Think of your brain like a computer for a second. Every time you switch what you're doing, you're not just opening a new tab. You're forcing the entire system to shut down one program, find another one, and load it all up from scratch. That tiny delay, that mental reboot, costs you time and energy. And that's where the mistakes and the slowdowns happen. So, if multitasking is the villain of our story, then who's the hero? Well, it's singular focus. This is the direct antidote to that task switching cost. It is the absolute key to unlocking your true potential to do deep, meaningful, high-quality work. And the magic of focus really boils down to these three things. First, you become way more efficient because you stop wasting all that time trying to get back into the groove. Second, the quality of your work skyrockets because you can actually pay attention to the details. And third, and this one's huge, you build momentum. Finishing one thing gives you this amazing psychological win that just fuels you to crush the next one. Okay, this all sounds great, but how do we actually do it? How do we put this into practice? Let's build the framework, the blueprint you can apply to literally any goal you have. This isn't just theory, this is your roadmap. The whole roadmap is really just a simple four-step loop. First, you break down that massive goal into smaller, manageable projects. Then, you prioritize like your success depends on it, because it does. Next, you set clear deadlines to keep yourself honest. And finally, you celebrate the small wins along the way to build that awesome momentum. That's the core of it. Now, for that second step, prioritizing, this little tool is your absolute best friend. It's the Eisenhower Matrix. Super simple. If something is urgent and important, you do it now. If it's important but not urgent, you decide when you're going to schedule it. If it's urgent but not that important, you delegate it. And if it's neither, you delete it. Get it off your plate. This filter is the key to making sure you're always working on what really moves the needle. And this quote just captures the whole philosophy perfectly, doesn't it? We have this idea that success is some big, heroic leap, but it's not. It's a slow, deliberate, step-by-step climb where every single step is built on a solid foundation of focused effort. Okay, so that's the blueprint. But does this stuff actually work when the stakes are sky high? Oh yeah. Let's take a look at how these principles play out in the real world. I mean, just look at the Burj Khalifa. You don't build the world's tallest building by checking your email every 5 minutes. It was a total masterclass in project focus. They broke it down into these huge, distinct phases. First, the foundation, then the superstructure, then the next thing. Each one was its own self-contained project, proving that even the most monumental goals are achieved one focused step at a time. This slide, wow, it tells the whole story perfectly. On one side, you've got Apple in 1997. When Steve Jobs came back, he famously slashed their sprawling product line down to just a handful of key products. He focused. On the other side, you had Nokia, a giant with a totally fragmented, overextended product line. And well, the results speak for themselves. Focus leads to domination. Distraction leads to decay. So we've covered the why and the how. Now let's get really practical. Let's equip you with the tools you need to stay on track. Starting, well, how about right now? Here are 4 powerhouse strategies you can implement immediately. First, time blocking. Literally schedule appointments with your projects in your calendar and treat them as unbreakable. Second, do regular reviews, maybe weekly, to see where you are and stay accountable. Third, learn effective delegation. This isn't just about offloading work, it's about amplifying your whole team's focus. And finally, use simple project management tools to keep everything visible and organized. A massive part of focus is just building a fortress against distractions. And this chart is so telling. Look at the biggest lever you can pull. 40% of the solution is just turning off your notifications. It is the single, simplest, and most effective thing you can do. After that, get some good headphones, schedule that deep work time, and set some boundaries. And hey, if you're a leader, your job is to create a culture of focus. That boils down to 3 things. Set crystal clear priorities for your team, publicly recognize and reward people for doing deep, focused work, and give them the tools they need to actually do it. Ultimately, it all comes back to this simple, powerful loop. You focused on the one right thing, you execute with real intention, you achieve the goal, and then you just repeat that cycle on the next priority. That right there is the engine of all progress. So I'll leave you with this question. Just for a moment, forget about your massive to-do list. Looking at all your goals, what is the one thing, the one next project that you will give your complete, singular focus to? Start right there.